Well, what's up, everybody? My name is Chris Mayer here from Boston Indies, and welcome to Bit Show Episode 6. It's July 2nd. We got a great show for you tonight. I have some very exciting yo-yo tricks for you later, and of course, Dirty Beast Games is here to talk about their game Feral Frontier. Not a lot of announcements this week, really just one. Boston Indies and Women in Games Boston are going to be doing lightning talks July 20th. You can find information about that at bostongamedev.com. If anyone else has, exciting announcements about stuff going on around town, just drop that in the chat. Yeah, that's actually really it. I'm going to drop the link for the lightning talks. If you're interested in giving a talk, you can apply at this Google form that I just posted in chat. And yeah, just going to get started here.
Hey!
Hey everybody, it's good to be back. Hey, Ichiro, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm swell. I realize I have one more thing to be thankful of in this beautiful world, is that Zoom is doing a pretty good job when I go to the right angle of cropping my mullet. Like mullet, and then I get to the right angle, and it's cutting out a lot of the stuff on the edges. It's decided it's not part of, like my wife, Zoom has decided that's not a proper part of my head and shouldn't be shown.
I like that, but I also like even more is your background. That's gorgeous. Was that done by Luigi Guattieri?
Yeah, that's one of Luigi's backgrounds. I think it's just concept art for Make Sale. I don't think it made it into production, but yeah, it was a real nice one. I like that. We've got a lot of beautiful sky and sea paintings hanging around from all the Make Sale production, but this one I find particularly calming. Wear my blue shirt in my entirely blue world here. As we noticed before, you are the opposite. You are in some sort of intense red hell right now.
Oh, I'm anger to Ziba's. Like, if we were in Avatar, I'd be Zuko and you'd be Aang.
Yeah, I get absolutely none of those references whatsoever. I know that Avatar's a thing.
Okay, what's wrong with you?
Honestly, when you said Avatar at first, I was like James Cameron. But, I mean, I know. It took me a little bit to...
Can I just skip this show? Because I'm just insulted now.
Yeah, all right, Chris, just mute Ichiro. We don't need him anymore. We've reached a conflict that cannot be resolved peaceably.
Okay, I saw that, Elliot.
Once again this week, we didn't prepare ahead with a theme song. We didn't get on it proactively enough. So I just want to put this out here. We are looking for a more permanent theme song or theme songs, or I don't know, just people from the community to just contribute some noise on some instruments. I think we got some stuff out there. So don't be shy. That's another kind of thing you should be throwing in devlog is your pitch for opening theme music, even if just for 1 week. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think incidentally, Team Ziba is winning on the chat. So, like Vermont Digital Arts, red shirt. Well, we all know that he's going to die. Luigi is like blue version superior, but he's kind of like on your side anyway. Pref calls your lack of avatar hood shameful. So I think that's 2-1. You're winning.
Oh, I've embarrassed myself in front of Kreth. Now I'm sad. I think Eric is saying that this is like the Windows 95 login screen. He's talking about the sound there. Anyways, we just play Windows boot up sounds. Yeah. All right, how are we doing for banter? Do we move on to the review of the show?
I don't know. I could do this for another 20 minutes, but I think everybody else would log out.
Yeah, we have our normal up on our outline is our normal review of the arts, the devlog. And I had a terrible idea I was going to pitch to you right now, Ichiro.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We rebrand this section where we show off stuff in devlog, the bit showboating.
I love it. Okay, that's much better than Mooncusser.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to do our bit showboating. Dirty Beast is here to talk about Feral Frontier. Chris already said he's doing yo-yos, and then we'll have happy hour. So remember, at the end of all this, stick around. The Zoom link goes out. You join in.
Yes, we are all going to talk. It's not just going to be me to Ziba. It's going to be mostly like Trevor yammering, but he's not even here today. So,
yeah. And also, if you think of a more complicated question, something you want to throw into chat, or just a more casual, you get to be part of this conversation at the end of it. So that's going to be great. One more fun thing. So our guests today, I sent them a traditional email, as I do to our guests, to invite them to organize some things and talk beforehand, saying, thanks for doing the Bit Show. Let's have a call, get together. I sent them this email, except I did not send them this email. I sent the email to the man who worked on my deck 2 years ago. There was an autocomplete error in Thunderbird. I didn't realize I'd done this until I get a reply from Vladimir, who worked on the deck. So let me just share with you Vladimir's reply to my invite to be on the show. And
wait a second. Vladimir from where?
From Brazil.
Wait, Brazil is funding your games now?
From where?
Okay, just from Brazil.
He actually, I mean, it's a whole different story, but he actually got his citizenship while he was working on my deck. Like he was working on it, got a phone call, and ran off to go get his citizenship.
And he's not even willing to be on our show.
Well, here's what he said in response.
Okay.
He says, "Hi, the deck will be done today. You can prepare the final payment for this week. Thanks, Vladimir."
Okay, now I'm really confused.
So that's the point where two humans, he and I, are absolutely not making any sense towards each other whatsoever. I sent him a wildly nonsensical email, which he did not read, and just sent me the reply that made sense to him. I don't know.
Dantron, I don't know how. Dan, classic Vladimir.
Yeah, classic Vladimir. He does good work though. If anybody needs someone to work on a deck, I know a guy. He's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that was weird, dude. All
right, on with the showboating.
Yeah. All right, you're doing 2 showboats. I'm doing 2, and then you're doing 1, and I'm doing 1.
I'm just gonna start. We got our slides up. All right, we got
slide 1. Jason,
yeah. Jason Gertner's showing off Floaty Fighters with a great trailer for this fighting game, and some. I love it's got those local award Mass Digi and Boston Fig logos in there. It's good to see those being put out. If you haven't checked this out, I don't know if the sound's playing on there right now, but I really like cool soundtrack, good action. This one might actually be fun for us to play during happy hour a bit.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah,
if Jason's online, but only if Jason, because otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, it's got, and I think we'd be playing over remote play together, which I've only used a little, but works surprisingly well.
It does. Kudos to Valve.
Yeah, that is why bother writing network code anymore ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, cool. Thanks for sharing that, Jason. Next up, is me.
Yeah.
Next Michael. Michael Silverman has reworked "Don't Shoot Yourself." Michael Silverman, who is a regular and voluminous contributor, I really appreciate that he keeps doing a lot and keeps sharing a lot. Worked "Don't Shoot Yourself" into this spiritual journey, and I appreciate that. And I was watching the trailer, and it's about you put out all these bullets, and then you have to deal with the own bullets that you put out into the world, and it just feels so ripe for a metaphor for life. So I can see how he went through and did that. It's like I put these things out here, and now I must deal with them.
Do you feel like there's a lot in life that you've done to yourself, Ziba?
There's volunteering to do things like I don't know anything about a show. I'm gonna run a show every week, and I've added a thing to my life that's good, but also I have to deal with. It's things we do.
You're making Felicia and Josh and Ken better people, maybe.
I'm making them wait impatiently and stare at us to get through the banter before they get to be on.
They knew what they had to put up with, or by the time they're done with this, they'll know.
By the time they've put up with it, they'll know what they've had to put up with to do. Anyways, thanks, Michael Silverman.
Have you played Eric's game? All right, so he posted about this in the devlog channel, and it's basically like if you can imagine Star Trek, the original series, done as, I don't want to say a visual novel because it's more than that. It is more like like you're a space detective almost. You are this bureaucrat aboard what is obviously not the Starship Enterprise, but totally is. And there's a bunch of crazy stuff going on, political infighting, intrigue. You're trying to suss it all out, and basically it's sort of like a narrative adventure through all of this. And I don't want to spoil it, but Eric posted it to devlog channel. I recommend that you play it just because it is such a refreshing, interesting thing. Visuals are really nice. You basically see all these characters doing stuff. and there's an alien who's a complete asshole and thinks that he's better than everyone else. That's all. I don't want to say more.
I loved in that trailer. There's that tonal drop where it's like some games are like this, and ours isn't. And just in editing the video, they had like a really bold, patient move there. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't catch that in the trailer just now, you should watch it yourself.
Yeah, no, it's a funny trailer. So next up is Ziba Scott of Pop Cannibal. He is responsible for a game called Make Sail, which I like very much. He says that he has been improving wind visualization on the map and adding a flowing texture to go with the particles. Ziba, what would you say about Ziba during this period?
What would I say about Ziba during this period? He's desperately trying to do things so that his early access audience doesn't think the game's entirely dead, and the Steam goblins don't get angry and overwhelm the forums with angry people because there hasn't been an update in a while.
Have they been angry, actually?
Just a little. I take it really hard when people are like, this game's dead. Which is like, not, because I have so much I want to do on it.
No, I've done 2 more games since then. It's fine. Ugly
I've done
Baby is
other
great.
Games, but, it feels like my neglected child. It is one of my things. So
you got to kill your babies, dude.
No, I'm raising this one.
All right, fair enough.
If those are the 2 choices, no, I'm gonna keep putting it. No, anyways, it's fun. What I shared in the devlog that I followed this really cool tutorial to make that. Which, if you have any interest in shaders and flowing things, it was a really nicely detailed, put out tutorial, line by line, how to write a shader and do textures to.
So what you're saying is that for your early access update, you stole a shader, and that was the update.
Yeah, in particular, I'm stuck on an old version of Unity, and that tutorial was like, by the way, I'm using this old version of Unity. It was magical.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing this week.
Jake, over to. Oh wait, am I doing Jake? No, you're. Oh, I guess I'll.
Did you play Jake's game?
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, I played Jake's game, Mythical Freaks. We don't have a video. Jake, are you here? It's basically Mortal Kombat for your soul. I don't know what to say except for give it a try. It's on itch. You can go to itch. It plays in your browser. It's Unity based. Everything's wonderful. There we go. And Jake can tell you all about it in the chat. We don't have a video, so I'm just going to be like. Rah, bah, rah. And that's the game.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, over to the next one.
Ooh.
Call of Karen. And can I say, I don't know if Kate's here today, but my own alma mater, although I graduated not just last decade, not just last century, but last millennium from WPI, Worcester Polytechnic Institute, my friends, and Kate is a WPI alum now, and her team did Call of Karen, which is about a suburban housewife whose home is being invaded by Cthulhu. It is going to be released on, I want to say the 16th? Yeah, the 16th. And so her team made a short video comparing that footage to the original footage to where we are now, she says. And look how far she's come. There's a student team. This is pretty impressive.
There's some really gratifying looking changes there. It looks like it's been receiving love.
I like it. I'm super impressed. They did more than I did when they were their age. What else?
Yeah. All right. I think that's it. That's our showboating for this week.
Yep. That's our arts. I like it. Showboating, that's fine.
Yeah. We can work into more metaphors about boats and sinking.
Yeah, we can. We'll workshop that tonight.
Very good.
After drinks.
Cool. So let's get on to today's guests. Today's guests are, you know what I didn't do? What I told myself I was going to do?
What is you going to do?
What I was going to do before, when we were talking to the guests before, I was going to ask them for the exact pronunciations of their names so that I don't blow it here with their last names. And now I'm going to go do it, and they can yell at me after we do it. All right. Today's guests are Felicia Santos, Josh Cheney, and Ken McHugh. Individually, they are formidable, but together, they are Dirty Beast Games. They live in Beverly, but come down to Boston to clean up at awards shows like the Mass Digi Challenge and the Boston Festival of Indie Games. Please welcome Felicia, Josh, and Ken.
Yeah, we got to get those sound effects in. Hey.
Nobody cheered. All right.
No, I cheered. Hello.
Hey. Welcome to our virtual couches. We're so happy to have you here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
We really appreciate you taking the time to listen to us showboat and get to this point. please, if each of you could just sort of briefly say hi and tell us what you each do at Dirty Beast Games.
Sure, yeah. I'll start off. My name is Josh. I do art. I mean, basically, you have to wear a lot of hats, so it's kind of all put it together. It's like art, game design, story. Yeah, just kind of that, I guess. So art encompasses backgrounds, animation, concept design, just any sprite art. It's all sprite based, so that's what I do.
Yeah, I mostly handle community management. So anytime you're interacting with somebody, like through their socials, through our emails, website, it's pretty much me. I also kind of fill in the blanks with some things, but I play a really small role in that. So, if there's like I don't know, like a background that needs to be put together, or like some small little thing, I might help out. But for the most part, like it's mostly community management. So
yeah, she's like right there. So
yeah, we talk about the story a lot, together. So.
I noticed that
you're
sharing an earpiece. Yeah. Is this like a very indie thing where your Dirty Beast can only afford one earpiece, and so you have to work together on a single keyboard? And sometimes
I don't even get the earpiece.
Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry, Ken.
I know.
Yeah, this is just.
She just ran out and got this actually.
It's fine.
It's something even crappier.
I discovered there was like an issue with the screen where it would only project out on one thing, and I finally figured out what the problem was. But
we're just trying to avoid the feedback loop.
Yeah,
it would have been great if Ken had one ear also and just had a cable trailing off the outside of his
house, all the way from their house to my house. It's like a little telephone, like a little.
It's like one in this ear.
I can get into this fiction that we all have to be holding one end of a string to make this show work or something.
Right. Yeah.
We'll workshop it in the chat. So I interrupted Ken, who's next.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm Ken. I do the programming and the music. All the beep boops. Let's go beep boop boop.
Nice.
But
are you doing the music live instruments like you got back there, or is it? Well, you said beep
it's all keyboard synth music. I'd like to introduce some actual instruments, but I actually have to get some people that have talent playing those instruments to help me out. So
is that not Felicia and Josh? Are you dumping? Is this like the Beatles all over again?
I can kind of play the guitar, I guess, but yeah, I never attempted. Never even thought that it would be for this game. But.
No, we'll get some Josh guitar in there.
We'll
what do you play?
Yeah.
Felicia sings.
She could play the kazoo.
Yeah, I could do
Everybody can play the kazoo.
This is making me think I want more amateur music in games. Like, people are like, I do a little art. I'm going to try and make a game. It was my first art, or I barely know programming, but I'm going to program a game. I don't know. A lot of people are like, I barely know how to work an instrument, but I'm going to write a 3-hour soundtrack for this game. And I would like to see more of that, actually.
Right do it all soundscapes.
Right now, the rest of the show is all us just making some noises.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. You all in the chat get to that. We'll play it at the end.
And then deeply personal things to emotionally connect you all to the audience. The strongest, shiniest thing that really popped out was Josh likes Smash. That was clearly on the forefront of everything. So I wanted to put that out there.
He really likes Smash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if Shell is here in the audience.
No, is Shell in the audience? I don't think that they are. So I think Josh wins by default. And sorry, Shell, who is like our second. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, you're in trouble, Josh. You're gonna have fisticuffs.
I'm just setting up some reasons to stick around for happy hour chat.
I'll take a friend code or a whatever, a username.
Well, maybe during the Zoom, like the happy hour, you both can fight, and then we could take votes and like, oh, Shell, Josh, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we could just be like our whole audience could turn into like the background from a fighting game where we have a short loop and we're just. Yeah.
Like a Street Fighter background.
That's my fighting loop right there.
Where this is going?
What are you doing, like the Jamaican stage, Felicia?
What? Well, don't they have like numbers in the background?
That's like Samurai Showdown.
Yeah.
All right. I think this can be a thing. We'll do it. We'll do this for next time.
You guys should get those Smash Bros sound effects for the audience and just use that. Use that as your like, oh.
We probably could get away with a whole lot of copyrighted things here. Nobody's caring about us. So
Nobody cares about us.
Just gotta look
It's
at the
fine.
TOS.
Can I jump in and ask a question that I asked in the question area, but I'm going to ask in the question area? Is that how did you all meet? It's a fun story.
So basically, I was going to this local art school, and Ken wasn't. He was just going to another local school that just had kind of crossover parties, and we just kind of met at those parties. And
You don't want to name these schools, obviously.
I don't know. I just felt like I guess not. It's not a big deal.
Salem State College.
Okay, there we go.
Montserrat College of Art. That's
okay. Sure, fine colleges. Don't be proud. I'm good.
And so we just kind of. I mean, he would bring like a modded Xbox with a bunch of like emulated games from like retro games and stuff. And there was a lot of people just. I mean, there's a decent amount of playing like Super Nintendo at parties and stuff. And I don't know, somehow I guess like I conveyed to him that I like video games enough that he remembered and kind of reached out to me like afterwards.
Well, because I remember it was funny because you were like, I was into like rap, like I do like programming now, but like back then, like I just graduated from or I was in college or I forget when it was, but I was a graphic designer, but like didn't really know code. So it was like I was trying to get into like game art and stuff. So I was talking to Josh, and Josh was like, "Well, I don't know how to code either." And we were like, "Well,
let's start a game studio." Woo!
We were like, "I guess we can't make a game." And we were like, "Okay." We just left it at that. And then I just reached out to him like a few years later when I started like dabbling in it. And I was like, "Hey, you still not know how to code?" Because I can kind of do it a little bit now. So that's how it ended up.
Okay, and then there was like, I'm sorry, go ahead. You were
we had like a couple prototypes that we shared with each other. I think like Ken's was a side-scrolling space shooter, right? I think
I had a space shooter, and do you remember the cat game that I had? It was a platform. Where I actually like took a video of my cat walking, and that's how I got like the animation of the cat.
Oh, it's just like how they made Prince of Persia.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. We just. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I said we just met each other. We were working at a vegan restaurant here in Beverly. And yeah, I mean, just got to know each other. And
Josh was like, "Well, you like vegan food? You want to work on a video game?"
Yeah, that was his name.
And I make vegan food. Let's make games together.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of our first dates was online on some website where you could both draw.
Yeah, we were. I think it was what do they call it? I don't know if it was like Okeshi or something, but it's just like it's an online drawing tablet wall where people just like communally draw, and we just drew like Pokemon or something. And
I think it was like an underwater scene or something. I think I made like a Pokemon card for you. I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, that's how you know you.
It's like her as a Pokemon. Yeah. She's like a psychic grass type. I made her.
Yeah.
So she had like persuasive abilities, which I don't know. I guess seemed cool at the time.
At what point did all this? I don't know. You're all finding these things to do together and these things that bind you together. At what point did that form into the words "dirty beast"?
We were basically like submitting, I think, to Boston Fig the first time, and we had to come up with a name for ourselves. We didn't have one because I don't know, it's so hard to come up with names and titles and stuff. So we just were like stuck. We have to think of something. So we were actually worried more about the game's title, and the studio title was just like not something we thought too much about. And right. Dirty Beast was just something that like I would say if somebody was playing really well at Smash Bros. So
you're a dirty beast, yeah.
So it was just kind of like, being good at the games,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's where, and then it just sounded like, I don't know, kind of silly and funny. And I think like, I don't know, I think like if you think about like Ken and I think like we're kind of like rough around the edges and like not totally serious, I guess, in our approach, maybe I'd say. So it feels
okay, incidentally, in the chat, I want you to know that Shell is shit talking you, and it's like, oh, really? You think you can kick my butt at Smash?
What's his GSP?
What's his GSP?
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I don't know what that means, but that, like, Shell, if you would tell us what your GSP is.
Let's take a look.
Is it a number? Is that like a recipe for something? It's probably pretty good. In the Twitch chat. So just everybody in the Twitch chat, tell us what your GSPs are, or missing that your GDP
Shell used to
per
be
capita.
the number one K rule.
Yeah.
TSP is crap. Yeah.
GSP is crap. Yeah, you can totally break it.
One stock 2-minute time limit with items on and smash balls.
Yep.
Yeah, the 3 chalices on the seashell with the spores.
Is that Mario Kart?
I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're talking about. Let's move on.
The 3 seashells, dude? What are you talking about?
Shh. Live it, love it.
Let's get to the thing that the dirty beasts are doing, aside from.
Oh, that's right.
Right now, y'all are really focused on making a game called Feral Frontier. What is this thing? What is this thing you're doing?
I don't even know. Do you guys know?
And that's the show. Thank you very much.
Yeah, what is it? I don't.
It's like a game that has like. It's actually been difficult to describe because people are always like, "What's your like one thing that sets you apart or whatever?" And we didn't really like start with a core idea that was like utterly original and kind of design a game around that. We just kind of put in everything we thought would be cool.
And we started just trying to make a game, I guess. Just like we just threw all the things. I was just throwing all the things in. Where I was like, well, what have I seen in games that I've played? And I just like started adding stuff, and then we had like a basic kind of platformer at that point. And now we hang out, we throw ideas at the wall and see what sticks. And
so yeah, go for it.
Your description of your paths together, your capabilities, and your slapdash approach to making this game is absolute bullshit because I can.
Yeah, I know. Look at it. Like Chris is showing this on the screen, and it looks pretty sweet. And like, there's an argument on the chat right now as to whether you're using Unity or Game Maker.
Oh yeah.
What the answer is Game Maker. So.
Yeah, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great.
Thanks. Yeah. Like I guess like if we were to try to put it in simple terms, I guess we wanted to make a game that was kind of like a Metroidvania, which is pretty popular for indie game guys with sprite art to do. But what maybe makes us a little different is that we were trying to go the route of, in my case, I was like really influenced by Smash Bros. So we wanted to bring into it kind of a more complex combat system. So there's a rock, paper, scissors mix up of grab beats block beats attack. And so it kind of is very inspired the moveset by Smash Brothers, but it's like uninhibited. Whereas Smash Brothers is all kinds of like landing lag and like you can't cancel this into that, or this is kind of just, it's a one-player game, so we don't have to worry about balance or anything like that. So it's kind of like, whereas Smash Brothers kind of took platforming and brought it to like the fighting genre, we kind of took fighting and brought it to the platforming genre, I guess.
So it's kind of more extrapolated out. So like, you know, the name of the genre when it comes to like Smash Bros, Brawlhalla, those kind of games is like it's a platforming
fighter, they call
platform
it.
Fighter. But what we're trying to do is
we were saying like smash-vania.
It's like a smash-vania. It's kind of like basically take a
I
character.
think that's a great word. Like I think I've never heard smash-vania before. No, I'm serious, right? You put that up there and people are gonna go like, huh?
Yeah, I think.
Sorry,
Super Smash-vania Brothers.
Smash-vania. Well, we
had like Super Smash-vania Brothers.
Sorry, Felicia, I interrupted you. I apologize.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, it's just basically like Josh was saying, rock, paper, scissors that you might see in a traditional fighting game is brought into the character, but also we're working on trying to bring it into enemies as well.
And what that means is like, because, you know, Smash Brothers, all the moves are made to be like a fighting game for the most part. In this, because we want it to be an adventure and there's a lot of platforming exploration, we had to make it so that the moves could be repurposed in other contexts to help you with platforming or puzzle solving or something. So, you know, you have like a down aerial attack and that will help you bounce off a guy. So it gives you that little extra boost. You can throw your boomerang into the wall and jump off that. So it's like a weapon that can also turn into a platforming tool. We try to think of how can we make all the moves kind of integrate into each other, combine them, as well as use them in various contexts. Basically, the platforming, combat, and the puzzle solving context were the ones we were focused on.
Yeah, they all kind of play off of each other. It's kind of like a trifecta. I've been focusing a lot on the platforming myself, and then like I feel like me and Josh come from like totally kind of, well, not totally different, but different backgrounds. I think Josh is more into like kind of visceral, kind of just like in the moment kind of games where like it's skill based kind of games, where I'm more into like action adventure, RPG, kind of immersive one-player games. So we're just kind of bringing both of our worlds together.
I appreciate how well analyzed your interest in the games, down from mechanical to feeling wise, are really, really. It says a lot that you're. It says the opposite of the story you were telling us at the start about just sort of wandering into this. You really do seem to be a prepared and thoughtful team putting together something excellent.
Well, I just love smash-vania because like genre is so important to convey. I'm not kidding. On the top of the Steam page, right? We looked at it. We said, hey, what is the most important thing that you could tell to viewers of, for example, of Steam users? It is genre. Smash-vania, you got it. You're the only people doing a Smash-vania. You're just going to be millionaires tomorrow.
Tomorrow or when? When are you putting it out? That's my question.
It's coming out. When is this coming out? It's coming soon.
I'd say we're still kind of like, we're pretty early.
That's a really good question. It's a slow process, definitely. Slow process.
I mean,
we were talking earlier. We both have kids, and that's definitely slowed me down a lot. Like when we first started this endeavor, like me and Josh have been like working on games now for what, like 8 years, 7 years,
maybe, yeah,
long time. Like just like learning, like getting our chops up, and like learning stuff, and just kind of. We had this first build of the game, like when I was learning, we had this first kind of build of the game that was just like an amalgamation of shit that was just like everything but the kitchen sink. And then Josh came to me like 2 years ago, and he was like, hey, do you want to actually try to make something serious for Boston Fig? And I was like, yeah, we go to, me and my wife go to Boston Fig like every year. So we were always like, we could do this. We could make something for Fig. So like we took a few months, and I was like, oh, by the way, I'm gonna have a kid soon. I hope that's cool, like like.
And if you'd said no,
abort it. Yeah, I know. Well,
yeah, I think wasn't it your brother, like he had like a wedding or something that he announced like, on the day of Fig or something.
My brother had
you didn't do so much that day.
No notice for at all. Like he gave like 2 months notice. And he was like, oh, and it ended up being on the day of Boston Fig. I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I was
he had to leave and be like the best man.
Yeah, I was the best, and he made me the best man too. Dude, come on.
I don't know. So, but so are we able to play it? Can we get alpha keys for the Boston community? Is what because it looks gorgeous.
Not yet. We're almost there. I feel like we're almost there.
All right.
We're trying to get that vertical slice. We keep saying vertical slice. Actually, when we the Mass Digi Challenge, they were like, oh, to be qualified, you have to be able to release your game within like a year. And we're like, yeah, we can do that.
I say that about all my games.
yeah. And during that thing, we're like 90% there for our vertical slice. And now I think we're like 95% there. So like the past year has just been.
It's just that last 5% is like the next half of it, really. That's how it always is.
Yeah. I think, okay, so final question for the audience. Where can we follow you online?
Twitter.
So you can follow us our socials. So twitter.com/dirtybeastgames, instagram.com/dirtybeastgames. We're also up on Steam, so you can wish list us. Just search for Feral Frontier. We're also up on Facebook too, but nobody's on that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much where you'll find us online.
And Felicia, you've been known to pop into the game dev Slack, the Boston Game Dev Slack, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'm always just like poking around, stalking. I don't talk too much, but occasionally I'll pop in if I feel it's necessary.
Felicia is the reason that we're here and why we're out and about and doing things. Like if Felicia wasn't here, we would be on our computers talking to no one, or at least I would be. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Josh.
I hear is that we would like Feral Frontier would be done because I'm not talking to Ziba and Ichiro is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Well, then we're very thankful that Felicia is making everything work just right. We appreciate you being here, and we look forward to seeing everything you're doing with the game in the future, and just talking to you as game devs in our community here, which is what this is all about. So thank you very much. Cue cheering sound effect.
Cool. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Ziba, like a couple of moments between just us and maybe the rest of the chat, I'm really just curious what it's like to be a BAFTA winner.
I think the word you look.
I think the word I'm looking for is that Felicia was supposed to ask that. So
I don't know anything about this.
I am going to hold it against Dirty Beast Games for the rest of their career. Is that
That's fair.
I wanted to take the high road and not be the one to ask Ziba about his BAFTA, because that came up like he's kind of like, well, I don't really want to brag, but I got a couple of BAFTAs, including the one that's supposed to go to Luigi. So
a couple.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna say that it is ineffable.
Fair enough. Thank you.
And that's our show for the week, everybody. That's our portion of the show. Very important and entertaining part of the show coming up, where Chris is going to do some yo-yo tricks, So stick around for that. I very much enjoy seeing Chris do his thing, so I will be here to watch that. And then afterwards, this very Zoom call that I am in right now opens up to everybody to come in. The link will be in the Boston Game Dev Slack. Come in, chat. Maybe we'll fire up some remote play or something. Maybe we'll just talk shit about Smash. It'll be a good time.
No, we're gonna talk about the concept of a smash-vania and a smash-troid.
Yeah.
And like that's the coolest thing I've learned today. So
yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think of that as a genre. What do you imagine it to be?
It's not oversaturated yet.
No, yeah, the market's not saturated.
Talk to you all shortly. Chris, handing it back to you.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on the show today. Now to wrap things up and kick off happy hour here, I'm gonna be demoing one of my other favorite hobbies, which is of course yo-yoing. Today I'm gonna be demoing some 1A yo-yo tricks. What is 1A yo-yoing, you ask? There are 6 divisions of competitive yo-yoing, starting with 0A, which is just doing looping tricks like around the world, into 1A, which is string tricks, which is doing yo-yo tricks where the yo-yo goes on a string. 2A, where you're using 2 yo-yos, one in each hand, and doing looping tricks. 3A, which is 2 yo-yos, one in each hand, doing string tricks. 4A, which is off string, meaning that the yo-yo isn't actually attached to the string at all. And 5A, which uses a counterweight, so the yo-yo isn't attached to your hand, instead you're holding on to one of these little counterweights here. I'm very bad at that, so I'm not going to be demoing that today. So you've probably seen some yo-yo tricks, in your life. For me, when I was in about 5th grade, this was really huge. Everyone in my 5th grade class was yo-yoing. And we were doing stuff like walk the dog, which is pretty classic, elevator, pretty easy. Around the world, which I demonstrated earlier. Some of the kids who are really good figured out how to do Eiffel Tower or Texas Star. No, I'm not gonna get that one. Or of course, Rock the Cradle. Another classic. But then from there, you kind of need to start learning about binds and mounts. So once you kind of get past that stage, you need your yo-yo to be really unresponsive, which means that when you try to bring it up, nothing is going to happen. So you need to add a little bind to kind of start the loop off and bring it back. So there's a couple basic ones: the side mount, 1.5, double or nothing. Then you can also do a lot of these going forward. So you have forward mount, reverse of that, 1.5 in the front. And then these are kind of the building blocks for making a lot of other tricks. Like McBride Roller Coaster is one of the classic competitive tricks that uses a bunch of these together. So it starts with an around the world. Do a double or nothing, do a triple or nothing, loop out, loop back. Boingy Boing, another favorite of mine, uses a 1.5 in the front, and then you kind of bounce the yo-yo back and forth. And then kind of similarly, we have Brain Twister, which uses a front mount. Actually muted. And then Mach 5, another very similar to Boingy Boing, using that 1.5, but we do an extra loop, which lets us kind of do this cool rotating motion. So once you kind of master that stuff, the next step is slack tricks, which is something that I'm still figuring out. Still very bad at this. But kind of the idea is that you're whipping the yo-yo string around and catching it on the yo-yo without using your hands. So this is one-handed. You just use your right hand to whip the string around and catch the yo-yo on it like that. Or so that's called a plastic whip. And then there's also a sideways version, which is called a laceration. Oop. Nope, that's really tangled. Anyway, if you're watching, a professional do this on, you can search on YouTube for the, World Yo-Yo Championships. A lot of great videos out there. You'll often see that they have 6 yo-yos on the stage in front of them. And that's because if your strings get knotted up in the middle of a routine, you don't really have the option of pausing and, readjusting. So instead, they'll just toss it off to the side and grab another one. A lot of these guys are sponsored by, Yo-Yo Factory or Yo Mega or whatever. So it's not a big deal for them to get 8 of the same yo-yo. So let's try that one more time. Yeah, laceration. So there you go. A little exciting yo-yo demo for you there. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Let's go!